Initially, in the other video, I said I wanted to name this Why Getting Jobs Are Hard. But I'm really just going to call it Jobs, the Do's and Don'ts. Alright? So I'm going to give you a couple of stories on some jobs that I didn't get. Alright? I could have got. There was no problem with me. Maybe the interview went wrong, and that does happen. Jobs, good jobs, sometimes the interview can go like from 0 to 60, and you could do everything right and still not get the job. That's happened to me on more than one occasion. Um, once I tried to apply for a hospital, leaving the hospital name off for obvious reasons. I was gonna do security, but you see, I have a ponytail. I had a rat tail, and I was trying to grow it to my shoulder blades to make up for my original ponytail. They went all the way to the bottom of my shoulder blades. I had long, long hair. So, and I cut it because I got tired of bums following me home thinking that I was a chick. And I had like the scruff, the shit that I've always tried to keep my face clean. So these alcoholics used to follow me home. It's the only reason why I cut it. I wish I never cut it. But it would have got cut anyway when I joined the army. Up until nowadays, where natives don't have to cut their hair. I'm only part native, so they probably would have made me cut my shit. But anyway, I went to apply for a job in security at the hospital. Now, I had been a security guard before, I just didn't get certified. So it wasn't going to be a thing for me to do it again. And I applied for this hospital job. Now, all these guys, you see how my forehead is? Because it's a big forehead because I'm getting old. And there's hair that used to probably be right in there. Because people are always ragging on my hairline. Because they don't have anything else they can really say about me. Because nothing else is really going to offend me. And to be honest with you, my hairline, you ragging on it, you're not really hurting me. You're just reflecting on how stupid you are when you have nothing else. Anyway, so, and most men are sensitive about their hair. I have a huge 5 head. It didn't used to be this big, but I'm getting old. And I've had a baby that pulls out my hair. He's not my kid, but he's always pulling out my fucking hair. So, yeah, from all sides of my head, he's been pulling out my hair. And they claim it grows back, but I don't see that happening. Because I've had this ponytail this short for about 4 or 5 years now. Maybe longer. I promised my father I would grow it till I was 50, and then I would cut it. But somewhere before I hit 50, I decided, fuck that shit. I'm gonna just let it grow and see how far it'll go. So there's that. Anyhow, moving on. I applied for the job, and all the men in the job were fat and sloppy and out of shape. And they all had the reverse fade, where they had their hair all the way around here, like the Paul Heyman with the Uncle Phil, the reverse fade. So I applied for the job, and the guy says, what are you going to do if they snatch you by your rat tail? I said, I'm not going to worry about my rat tail because I know Kung Fu. What are you going to do? It's like, well, you're not asking the questions, we're asking the questions. I said, well, one, if I'm dumb enough for them to get me by the rat tail, that shit's on me. That's on me. And two, this is armed security. How'd they get behind me? And they really didn't have any answer, but none of them really wanted me to work the job. And I'm going to say yes, I was the only person of color applying for the job, and I was the only person of color that was about to not be hired. I don't know who got the job, but I know who didn't get the job. And yeah, I played the race card. However, I was rightfully so, because they was like, well, you're going to have to cut that hair. And I said, no, I don't. I said, yes, you do. I said, no, that's discrimination. If you're not going to give me the job because I refuse to cut my hair, well, I'll tell you what. If I got to cut my hair, and since all of y'all are going bald, why don't y'all shave all of your hair off, and then I'll cut mine? It's like, what? I said, hey, if I got to cut mine, you got to cut yours. It's like, no, I don't. I said, so how you figure you got to cut my hair, but you ain't got to cut yours? So what happens if they grab you by your reverse fade? Right then and there, I pretty much knew I wasn't going to get the job. So, I walked off. So yeah, I kind of earned that one, because motherfucker got offended because I got offended. And if you're gonna take a snap at somebody, when they snap back at you, you kind of can't be mad. Okay, you can be a little bit mad, but karma doesn't forget an address. Another job I had the perfect interview. Everything went well, except for the fact that I marked black on my application. All right. The lady was also black, but she was from England, and she looked me dead in the face and asked me if I was sure. And I had to explain to her the Virginia law states that if you lie on your application, you can be fired. And before anybody who's not from Virginia says, no, you can't. Yes, you can. I've witnessed it happen. A person that I work with, literally, I worked with them like maybe almost a complete year. I still had my job. He lost his job because he was a convict and he never told anybody that he was a convict. Still a good person, but because he didn't put that on his application and Airmark pushed them through. Now I will say that company because they fucked me over more times than I can count. Airmark pushed them through. Man's working with us for almost a fucking year. But he wasn't like a murderer or anything. Whatever the fuck he did was like some misdemeanors or some shit. But when you go to jail, they still consider you a convict. So he they found out, like Baskin Robbins did with Ant-Man. They found out, and so we're at the job, and they called him over because him and I actually was having a conversation, and I was backing up the dishwasher because I was the food delivery. I delivered the shit to your table, and he was one of the cooks. So all of a fucking sudden, the managers came over, and they let him know he had to get the fuck off the property, like in the middle of the rush. And we was like, yeah, well, we got to rush. He has to go. And it's like, you got to go. You know why? Come back Friday to get your check. And so they literally fired him on the spot because he lied on his application. So yeah, don't lie on your application. Don't lie at all. Now legally, every application I fill out, I have to put the fact that I was in the Army on there. And I had asked before I left Fort Benning, Georgia, what if I don't want them to know? You have to let them know, where you can get arrested for fraud. Is it for not telling them that I was in the Army? I thought you'd get arrested for stolen valor. It's like, no, you were in the Army. You didn't complete the Army the way you wanted to, but you were in the Army. And every day for the rest of your life, you need to put on your application that you were a member of the Army National Guard. If you don't, we can arrest you. It's like, you can arrest me for not telling people that I was in the Army. It's like, yeah, because we keep track of all of our soldiers, and whatever job you do, that needs to be on your application. So, well, maybe I don't want the people that I'm getting a job for to know. And it's like, why would you want them not to know? I say, because when you're in the Army, people expect more out of you, and maybe I can't deliver what they're expecting. It's like, no, if you don't want to be arrested, you will put that shit on your application. So every job I have to fill out for the rest of my life that I was in the Army. Because it's on there, it says, were you in the military? Do you have any connection to the military? Instead of saying, were you a vet? It goes, were you in the military? And you have to put, check, yes. And then beneath it, you have to put the branch of military that you were in. So for me, I had to put U.S. Army, even though it's National Guard, and that's not on the application. It usually just says the military, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. Space Force is probably going to be added on there within the next couple of years on applications. And no, I'm never going to join Space Force. Anyway, another job I didn't get, I had an ambush interview. I wasn't wearing the proper clothes and my face wasn't shaved. My teeth wasn't brushed, so I know my breath had to be kicking, like Bruce Lee. And I went to apply for a job at Target when they had just opened up the Target here. And I literally only went up there to get application. It said, fill it out here. And I was like, no, I want to take it home and fill it out and bring it back. That way I can shower up, clean my face, brush my teeth. And the lady said, no, we're going to give you the interview right now while you're filling it out. And I was like, this is an ambush interview. That's not going to go well. It didn't go well. I took my sibling the application after I got it, because I got two. I said one for me and one for my sister. One of my sisters, because they wanted to work at Target too. And we get along, so it wouldn't have been a big fucking issue. She didn't get the job either. I don't even know if she filled it out, but I know I got the ambush interview right there. I was in a basketball t-shirt and like some sweatpants. You don't get an interview to somebody dressed like that. They don't have nothing that they can fall back on. I didn't have my cell phone with me. I just drove up there to get the application at Hollymead. And at the like the front building at Hollymead, it's like, yo, I just want an application. I need two, one for me, one for my sibling, and then I can go give it to her, fill out the application, put all my references on there, cause all that shit's in my cell phone, and then I can come back. By that plan, teeth are white, breath is fresh, face is clean, hair is done. I'm in presentable clothes, like a button-up shirt and a pair of fucking cargo pants. Some shit that I only wear now. So like, I'm in decent looking clothes. Ooh. And decently falling down. I'm in decent wearing clothes. I can go to an interview in this, but I probably want a black tee instead of a t-shirt that promotes one of my favorite activities, Saber Night Lights. So I'm in cargo pants. You know, rock this shit, or I'll put a button-up shirt over top of it, or a sweater, depending on the weather. Something's gonna make me look ready to work. All right, not in a basketball shirt and no clean teeth and an unshaven face. Ambush interviews are bad, and I got an ambush interview, so I didn't get the job. And I called them and told them, if y'all would have let me look presentable, I probably would have got the job. And I didn't have an attitude. I didn't talk to the lady angrily or anything. I responded to the questions nicely, and I explained to her, I was like, ma'am, I'm exceptionally nervous. And I let her know, I was like, I didn't brush my teeth this morning because I wasn't expecting this. I just threw something on so I could drive legally, because you can't drive down the street naked. And this way I can get the applications, come home, fill them out, freshen up, and then come back. Return the applications, and then give me the interview. No, we don't do that. You're going to give us the interview right now. I didn't get the job. Needless to say, I didn't get the job. Alright? When you have an interview, you have to be presentable. So if you're going to go pick up an application, unless it's online, wear a button-up shirt or a sweater. Cargo pants is fine. If you're going to wear a t-shirt, make it a t-shirt that has no logos. Maybe one with a chest pocket, so it looks like a regular shirt versus a t-shirt. Because a regular shirt, no pockets. But a button-up shirt or shirt with a pocket on it, at least makes it looks like you have some decorum on getting your job. All right, don't go in there half-ass sloppy. All right, now I can only say that to men. Women, just don't wear leggings and a decent shirt. Don't look like you just came from the gym or you just came from having sex, and you'll be fine. Because most women get the job lickety split. Dudes, we got to put in that fucking work. So you got to look good, you got to smell good, you got to dress good. Alright? You got to dress good. Now, another job that I didn't get, and the main reason I didn't get it was because I was broke. So I applied for a security position at the juvenile prison, just behind the house, up the street, right down the street from the actual prison. So I didn't get the job because I have to pay them $2,000 to pay for my own training. And then if I don't take the job, I have to pay them $7,000. And I'm like, I knew right then and there I won't even gonna attempt to get this job. Now the interview, it went great until they start telling me how much money I gotta pay. So let me get this straight. I have to pay you to get this job. And if I don't make it through the probation period, I have to pay you twice as much as what I'm going to be making. So yeah. It's like, thank you very much. I will take this into consideration because I don't have $2,000 to give you to be on probation, which I will probably get fired in a week. And then I had to pay you $7,000 because I got fired. I'll get back with you. Thank you. I was dressed to the nine, yo. I had my cargo pants, my button-up shirt, and even my sweater. Yeah, but I left the sweater in the car because it was hot. So I had my button-up shirt ready to go. Interview ready. You understand me? Smelled good, dressed good, fresh breath because my teeth were brushed. I also had a mint that I put in my mouth before I went in there. So extra protection. Good to go. Stomach growled a little bit, but it was stopped by the time the interview started. And I was a little bit nervous, but as the interview got to the end and it gave me the application, I said, I'll take the application. Thank you. I will take this into consideration. And as soon as I got in that car and drove up the street, the application went straight in the trash. I didn't call them, they called me. And when they called me, I explained to them, the way it was explained to me, I'm going to have to take a pass on you. I said, because I don't make enough money to give you $2,000 for you to train me and then put me on probation. I can be fired in less than 5 days because I'm as small as these kids you want me to watch, and one of them hits me, I'm hitting them back. And that's to that. It's like, okay, so you're not taking the job because you don't have any money to pay us to put you through training. I said, that is correct. I said, first and foremost, why do I have to pay you to train me? That's your facility. You should already be training me. I shouldn't have to pay you for it. Then I'm going to be on probation for fucking 7 weeks. And if I do anything wrong, if I get fired, now I have to pay you $7,000. That's fucking ridiculous. I said, that's a job that somebody who's not of my flavor of skin tone can take because they can afford it. I'm poor as fuck. Thank you for considering me. I will not be returning. And so once that was done, I was like, wow, how do you have to pay somebody to get a job? I said, that makes no fucking sense at all. Now, like for acting companies and shit, it makes sense because you have to pay your agent. They get a percentage of whatever the fuck you make. Where that's kind of touch and go. You pay your agent, they book you a interview, sometimes an audition. Just depends on how deep you are into this game. I don't have an agent. I have a company that I pay 30 some odd bucks a month. Um, they're supposed to ship my photo out, and I told them to put me in anything Marvel and anything Power Rangers, and I haven't gotten any hits. So, okay. Because usually they'll text you when they have their open call or whatever. Or if I apply for something on Facebook, they'll give me an open call and it's the same shit. It's like, look, I don't need to be in an open call. What I need for you to do is hook me up with people who are ready to make me work. So I'm still paying them. I'm not going to tell you who they are. I'm still paying them. But I haven't gotten any hits. And so there's that. And I don't know how to hook my social media to that company, but when I do, you'll be the first to know because I am an idiot. But yeah, your interview process is everything. It is not difficult to get a job. It is difficult to get hired. If you're looking for a job, and depending on what you want to do, and if you love doing that, then it's not going to be that difficult to get a job. The problem is the person on the other side of that desk. You have to literally impress that person. So looking good is like 45% of that shit. When you go in, you want your nails nice. Now, I'm not saying that as a female, but as a male, you don't want your nails jacked up. My nails are jacked up. But you don't want your nails jacked up. And if you sit like this in the chair, they can't see your nails. No. Until you shake their hands, they don't even know what your hands look like. And you keep your hands in your lap. Period. Try to make eye contact. Don't look away if you can help it. But if they look away, you're probably not going to get the job. Most times out of 10, the people that I've had eye contact with the job, I've wound up getting the job. The times where people are talking to me, but they're not looking at me. They're everywhere but at me. And I don't say anything. I just watch their movements. And like, remember the security job? The guy giving me the interview, he never looked at me one time. And at a different hospital, I also applied for a job as a vendor tech thingy. And the interview was going great. And that dude never looked at me one fucking time until he shook my hands. And I'm watching him the whole time like, okay, yes, sir. And I mean, I guess I made him nervous, because I never blinked and I never looked away from him while he was talking. And we're just talking. And I'm eating up everything he's saying, but I'm looking directly at him. And at one point, he noticed that I was looking at him. He was like, I said, hey man, look, I took a class for this. So they say in the class to always make direct eye contact with the person giving you interviews. And the interview shouldn't last more than 5 minutes. This interview lasted 10 minutes. And I will tell you, the only thing I did wrong was I listened to the people in the class that told me um, if the interview's gone more than 5 minutes, you're probably not going to get the job. That's about the only good advice I can give you. But they told me, don't break eye contact. Even if that motherfucker looks away, don't break eye contact. When he looked to the right, it was my right, his left. I probably should have turned my head just to see. But I never left his gaze. I was like, focused, laser focused on him. And he kept talking, and I was understanding. I was listening to everything he said. I asked maybe 2 questions, and then he said, okay, tell me something about yourself. And I was like, respectfully, I prefer not to tell you anything about myself because everything that I tell you about myself will keep me from getting the job. He says, how do you know that? I said, because it's done this before. He said, every interview where someone's asked me to say something about myself, the second that I get into the second minute of telling people about myself, my hobbies and shit like that, they don't hire me. It's like, well, I'm different. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. I said, I'm only here to get this job. I'm not here to tell you anything about me. I said, well, I need to know something about you. I said, okay, well, I do martial arts. What else? I collect comic books. What else? That's pretty much it. I draw. He's like, so you're only giving me 3 simple answers? I said, that's all I can give you. If I give you anything else, I'm not going to get this job. It's like, well, what else do you do? I said, I drive a car. You know, it's a stick shift. I will not drive an automatic. And he's like, okay, I'll call you next week. Next week came and gone. Motherfucker ain't called me. I called him. And his exact words were, you're not what we're looking for. Thank you, but no thank you. It's like, it was the interview, right? He's like, no, you did good. You're just not what we're looking for. That was his way of saying, I'm scared of you. And I don't want to give anybody who doesn't want to give me too much information about themselves a job. Now, I'll tell you a job that I didn't get for being honest. And then we're done. And I will tell you the name of that store because it was motherfucking Food Lion. Alright? Hi, Food Lion on 5th Street in Charlottesville, Virginia. Hi. So, I filled the application. Great. About a week and a half later from the application, I got an interview. The 2 questions that kept me from getting the job. Pay attention. Pay attention. This is the last part of this video. 2 questions kept me from getting the job. Alright? And because I gave honest answers, they wouldn't give me the job. So I come in for the interview. The lady took me into the side office. It was before they retrofitted the place. She took me to the side office and we had the interview. The interview lasted maybe 7 minutes, max. And at the end of the interview, she said, before I can give you the job, I gotta ask you these like 13 questions. Question 4 and question 7 were the 2 questions that kept me from getting the job. So question 4 was, if you needed $20 and you can put it back the next day, would you take the $20 out of your register and bring it back the next day? And I thought about it and I was like, let me get this right. You said I need $20. I can take it out the register and I can put it back the next day. And I said, okay, well, I don't think that's the best idea in the world. And if I can put it back the next day, I clearly don't need the $20. It's like, what? I said, you're going to tell me I can take $20 out this register and put it back to replace it the next day. Why am I stealing the money if I can put it back the next day? Then I didn't need to steal the money because I have the money at home. It's like, what? I said, think about it. I'm at work. It's probably 9 o'clock, and I gotta pay somebody $20. There's no random reason in hell that I'm gonna give up my job for $20 when I got $20 at home. And you think I'm gonna steal from this company to give some person $20 when they just gonna have to wait till I get home, and then I can give them the $20. I said, I'm not losing my job for $20. There's no way in hell I'm going to steal $20 from this company so that I can be fired and arrested for stealing when I can just give $20 to whoever needs it when I get home. It's like, well, they need it right then and there. I said, well, then they SOL because I'm not losing my job for $20. So we went on down to question 7. And this is probably the one that sealed my fate. I'm an honest person, right? So I generally don't miss a beat, but I focus on me at the job. I focus on doing my job. I don't focus on the other person on the other register or the other person on the other register because I signed up to be a bad boy. I didn't sign up to do cash registering anyway. I wasn't going to do any cash. You're either going to put me in stock or you're going to make me a bad boy. I'm not touching the cash. That's never what I applied for. So she goes, so if you see your coworker stealing money out of the register, would you report them? And I said, yes. Say, why would you report them? Why wouldn't I report them? It's the right thing to do. Say, yeah, but why would you report them? I literally told her, because it's the right thing to do. And then she said, so you report your friends if they stole money. I said, ma'am, I don't know who you think I am, but I am an honest person. If I honestly see them do it, I will report them to the manager. But to be honest, I'm going to be too worried about my money missing to worry about who's stealing from your register. I'm not worried about nobody else stealing from the register as long as I don't steal from that shit. I don't care what they do because I'm not going to be that over the shoulder guy making sure your money's missing when I got my own money that I need to be concerned with. And I think right there, that's what sealed the deal with me not getting the job at Food Line on First Street in Charlottesville, Virginia. And I don't know who that manager was, but she hired somebody who I knew personally was a motherfucking thief. He got the job and I didn't. And you go tell me how that works, because I guess they don't want me because I was honest, and they don't want me because I was a snitch. So it's like, dude, I'm not going to jail for $20. I'm not. I'm not going to jail for $20. And I damn sure ain't gonna steal from the company that gave me the option of having a job versus me running the streets. I have a job running the streets. I've never ran the streets. I've been one of those people who you can't influence me to do something. I do what I want to do, and I do it all legally. I don't do that dumb shit, you know. But apparently, some people do dumb shit. So there's that. So I didn't get the job. No. Now the only other time that I had a bad interview that I didn't get the job was where the hell was it? It was someplace I can't remember the name of it, but I didn't get the job. I was dressed right. I talked just a little bit too much, and that was like the thing that didn't get me the job because they asked a lot of information and I gave information. This happened long before, and this is why you have to be mindful of what you tell people in an interview. You have to be. So don't let the interview go more than 5 minutes. Don't give them any long-winded answers. Just keep that shit simple, and hopefully you'll get the job. If you start going too deep into your family or too deep into one of the passions that you like to do, like for me, kung fu, drawing, and driving cars, that was a big waste of time. But I've learned not to do that. No, don't tell them your future aspirations. Well, what do you want to do with your life? Don't tell them none of that shit. Just tell them, look, I honestly would prefer not to discuss that. It's like, what? Yeah, I'm saying, I'm here to get the job that I applied for. I am not here to tell anybody about my future plans of my life. I'm not going to jinx myself. So I'm here to apply for said job. I want to unload the truck. I want to stock the shelf. I'm not here for nothing else. When I applied for TJ Maxx, the interview was great because I didn't know I was going to get the job. And when I got the job, the first thing they said is like, so you're applying for what exactly? I'm applying for stock. Unload and stock the shelves. That's it. Say, okay, well, what happens if we need cash registers? I said, I will never work a cash register. I said, so if you're going to hire me for working in the back, I'm ready to start immediately. If you want to hire me for being a cash register, I'm going to leave your facility right now. I am not working your cash register. And then they asked me why. I said, well, I used to work at the movie theater downtown before it became the Violet Crown. I had to strip to my fucking boxer briefs because they accused me of stealing. I would never work another cash register for any store as long as I'm breathing unless it's mine. Alright? So we're going to tell you that little story because at the time it was the Regal. And now it is the Violet Crown. Excuse me, the Violet Crown. I call it the Violet Crown because the first time I went to go see the first Deadpool, I went to go see it there. And it wasn't a great experience. I almost got a free beer, but because I was driving, I couldn't take it. So I worked there before they did the retrofitting of it, when it had 6 theaters and they were all in the same spot. So they had the touchscreen stuff, and I jammed up the machine, and the customer gave me $50. The boss, the same asshole that made me strip, made me get on the other machine so we could get customers in, and we couldn't unlock the machine with the $50 in because people would never stop coming. Now, mind you, you see this ceiling light behind me? The fan right there? They had a camera that could see the entire room from ceiling to floor. First, dude made me strip. Took off my shirt, took off my tank top. The vests belonged to them. The pants didn't have any pockets. I made sure to never wear pants with pockets to work so that I couldn't be accused of anything. My t-shirt, and I bought my bag. I changed my clothes. I wore my normal clothes. I bought my bag. And he shook out my bag. There was no money. I don't bring money to work. We get free popcorn. We get a free soda. Why do I need to bring any money? So, shook my bag. Shook all the clothes. Nothing in there. Didn't even carry a wallet. I had my ID on me. I always carry my ID. I leave it in the bag while I'm at work. So shook the bag. Made me take all my clothes off except for my underwear. All of them. So my shirt, my tank top, my pants, my socks, my shoes. He shook them all in front of me. Shook my shoes. Made me jump up and down. Do jumping jacks. The only thing he didn't do was make me bend over, drop my pants, and pull my cheeks apart. $50 now. It's still in the fucking machine, by the way, if you're up to speed. So then we're watching the video. He's watching the video. My entire shift, I don't leave that place. Not even to pee, because I peed before I got on the clock. That entire time, I never moved from those 2 registers. I never been down to touch my shoes or any of that other shit. Just doing my job. He's like, so where's the fucking money? I was like, dude, the machine is locked up. It's a $50 bill still in that fucking machine. I put my clothes back on. Me and Gary Busey, because he looked like Gary Busey. I don't really know his name. I can't remember. But me and Gary Busey, he's not Gary Busey, by the way. He just looks like Gary Busey. A lot like Gary Busey. We walked down the stairs from the room which I was stripping in, which was like the main thing where you have all the projectors and shit. So we walk all the way down the stairs. I have my clothes back on, including my shoes. He unlocks the machine. $50 bill right there. Now, mind you, all this took the process of an hour. So I couldn't go home for an extra hour. The theater closes at 11. I'm there till midnight, and I have to walk the fuck back home. Madder than a motherfucker. Because this motherfucker accused me of fucking stealing. Stealing. But the machine had the money the whole time. We watched me put that $50 bill in that machine. And the machine locked up. Because I hit the button and got help where we couldn't unlock the machine, and people kept coming, so we put them on the other machine and took the money, went through, and by the time everything was done, another crowd came in, and I just kept sending people through, taking their money, giving them change, sending them through. Never one time did I leave that fucking room until the shift was over. When the shift was finally over, I got accused of stealing $50. So this is why I will never work cash register ever the fuck again. The Food Line experience and the Regal experience. You think I ever want to work another cash register after that shit? This is why when I went to TJ Maxx, it's like, yo, we hire for cash register and stock. I'll take stock. He's like, well, you're a small guy. Why you want stock? I said, because here's how this works. I was accused of stealing money from the last job that made me work a register. I also almost got fired for saying, oh God, I'm having a bad day. But what I did get fired from was talking about the boss's daughter because she was a big fat bitch. And I mean, she was huge. She couldn't walk through the door unless she came through sideways, and she had a struggle there. So I did get fired from that job, but it wasn't for stealing. So you have to have good decorum. You have to have a good interview. And more importantly, good morals. Good morals keeps jobs. Bad morals also keeps jobs. But 9 times out of 10, if I've been fired, it was for something that was done to me and I retaliated. Alright? Like the Thanksgiving thing at Sears. And the bathroom thing at Sears. And the shit with REB Construction. I've been fired from a couple of jobs. And I've earned those firings. But you have to know when you're doing your interview, you want to keep the interview down no more than 5 minutes. If you can keep it between 5 and 7, you're probably going to get the job. Be honest. I would suggest eye contact, hands and lap, and wear things that's presentable. And always wash and brush your teeth. Outside of that, you should be fine. And also, if you are a military person, please put on your application that you were in the military, because if you don't, excuse me, the military might come for you. That being said, I'm Echo Fan Great Wolf. This is Comfort Albert number 2. I will make more videos tonight. Just don't know what the topic's gonna be. Be seeing ya.